I'm hearing rumbling on the horizon. So starting last night around 10 p.m., there were a bunch of storms that rolled through all night long. About every other hour, there was just one storm, and then they went calm. And then there was another one that came through. And we've been getting them all night. Even this morning, it's about noon now. This previous one just passed around 10:30, and the lightning has just been crazy. Last night I went to go unplug everything in the house, and I unplugged the last thing in the house, and there was a loud boom, and then the power went out. So thankfully I got everything unplugged, but it just hasn't been stopping. And yesterday I saw that there was a tornado across the river in Iowa. I'm not totally sure where it was though, whether it was really that close, but there was this kid who like sat on his porch and watched this huge twister just go right by out in his field. So I don't know if I would have been able to do that, but what we're doing today is I'm standing here. I got to get moving because there's another storm that's going to be rolling through in a little bit here. You can see it over there, but I got to go check the floodgates down in the pasture. The floodgates are just the part of the fence that goes across the creek, and it's meant to break away in the case that we do get a ton of rain. We haven't had any real issues with our floodgates for the past few years, but back in 2008 was probably one of the worst years in my memory where we've had to go out and fix floodgates repeatedly. So I'm not looking forward to going down there and seeing what these look like. Hopefully they're not too bad. But I guess down at Travis's place there's one that has a wire broke, so Travis and Dad are going that way to fix that while I go down and check all 1, 2, 3, 4 floodgates out here. So let's go out there and see what they look like. Look at the mud that's piled up down here. Yeah, we got quite a bit of rain. Well, the creek looks clean, that's for sure. Now, as you can see, it pushed back the floodgate pretty good, but it's still there, and I'm really not worried about my cattle getting through. This water is really muddy right now because of the rain that we just got like an hour ago, but by the time all this goes through and there's fresh water coming through here, floods are actually pretty good at cleaning out the creeks. Sometimes they'll fill up with algae and stuff, but it really cleans out the creeks, and the water gets really clear. If you don't have a flood every now and then, they kind of become overgrown. So 1 down, 3 to go. Woo! It's a little deeper than I remember. Oh boy, this was all underwater. The waterfall is looking a little muddy. Clean, but muddy. Now, believe it or not, there is a floodgate there. It's not technically our floodgate, but seems to do a pretty good job at keeping the cattle where they need to be. So the big pasture is good. Now we got to run out and check the Klein pasture, which is adjacent to this one, and it's starting to hail. There were tiny pieces of ice hitting me before, but they all melted right away. Like I said, that storm is coming fast, so hopefully this one doesn't take out the floodgates. Now, since a tree fell on our normal path behind me during another storm, that's a huge tree, we have to go up another path, which is this one. Making sure there's no trees on the fence back there. Starting to rain a little bit harder. Starting to thunder pretty good too. I haven't seen any lightning yet though. Oh yeah, here it comes. This is where my cows were camped out last night, apparently. Come on, dude. This one is still good. Now you can tell where the floodplain is, where the grass is all knocked over. The next one has a pretty wide floodplain. The rain has basically stopped, which is good. The next one has a pretty wide floodplain, so I'm not too worried about it. I think we're sitting pretty good for now, here anyway. Well, I just found Dad's cattle out here in the Klein pasture. There is nothing there. Hey.
What's up?
So, the floodgate here by the cabin, it's partly gone. So I don't know, it might need a stake or something because there's nothing to tie the barbed wire to. I can still see some of the barbed wire that went across, but we might need a stake or something to pound in there.
Alright, we just got done with leashes. We'll head back to Rockville and we'll bring some stakes out.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Yeah, there are the two wires. Oh, there go. Oh, there's a stake right there. So this floodgate has performed and done exactly what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to break away so that it doesn't really take out more of the fence, and as such it does tend to be a little bit weaker than the rest of the fence. So your cattle sometimes do have a tendency to break through the floodgate. So if you got any cattle out, usually it's a pretty good place to check. I'm not going to have to call them back because I still need a post pounder, and that's what they'll bring. So I'll just stand here till they get here so the cows don't come through, because knowing cattle, if there's a hole in the fence, trust me, they'll find it, because they always love to run around the pastures until they find a place to get out. So neighbor's cattle's behind us. I'm not seeing any of Dad's cattle out, which is good. But yeah, this is definitely something that they could just walk right through. I think if we string this somewhere in there, that'll provide us the coverage we need. I don't know how it was set up before. For those of you wondering, I wear a Georgia boot. Bugs really don't bother me. Clean that off. Frickin' ants are crawling up my arms. But when it comes to spiders though, I don't mess around with spiders.
You called?
Need the post pounder, don't need a stake.
Oh, you have to have one of those.
Good.
Big celebrities that came to see.
Yeah. it turns out I was pretty wrong about that last floodgate. Apparently the creek sits lower and the floodplain sits pretty well higher. So in order for the creek to flood enough to escape out into the floodplain, it has to flood quite a bit, which took out the fence. So yeah, I'm gonna change my clothes, try to start drying out my boots, because surprisingly they really didn't even start to feel wet until I was driving away on the four-wheeler. So I was stepping in some like 6-inch deep water, and must not have gotten too high because there's not a lot of water in there, but just enough to make it miserable. So I think we're sitting pretty good for now, waiting to see what the rest of today brings. Who knows, might get another one tonight the way the weather's been going. So thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to check out all of our other videos. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, all how farms work, and I'll see you next time.